machines? Do it. I dare you. Kick her in the kicker. Mm-hmm. Then I kicked her, sir.
Kick him in the what? Hey, internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is the Dawnbringers, Season 6, Episode 16, Dead Dragons Do Tell Tales. And not only is this the 16th session of our 6th season, 2 days ago was the Dawnbringers' 4-year anniversary. 4 years ago, we started what was supposed to be a 5-session mini campaign. And then we decided, hey, we're having a lot of fun. Let's keep playing. And season 2, as that rolled around, we invited Ted to join us. And Ted's been with us since season 2. Partway through season 3, Dan came in for a couple episode arc, and then left, but we didn't want him to go, so we invited him back, and he's been around ever since. And then at the end of season 5, Katie joined us for an extended period, and we liked having Katie with us so much we invited her to stay, and so Katie's with us in season 6. And we've had a few guests along the ways, and we've had a couple characters and players that have come and gone, but here we are. Not only is it the 16th episode of our 6th season, I looked it up. This is our 142nd episode playing together. That includes, actually it might be closer to 145 because I know I counted one of the alternate games, but I think there's a couple. We did a BB's Place. We did maybe it's a little bit more than that. We did at least 142 games. It could be as many as 145, 146 with some of those other. We did the Orphan Makers Wildmount one shot, a couple that were for charity events, things like that. So I didn't go through and look at all of those, but if you just assume roughly an average of 3 hours per episode, yeah, we've played D&D for, what is that, like 450 hours together or something like that. That's a lot of time.
That's about right.
It's amazing stories we've been telling. And we're going to continue telling that story tonight as we continue in the wilds beyond the WitchLight. A couple of announcements real quick, and then we are going to show a teaser in just a couple moments, and then again right before our break for a brand new limited campaign coming to MTD in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from Tuesday. So very soon we're going to have a 2-part back-to-back. The 13th and the 20th will be the premiere of that. And then from October 4th, starting on October 4th, it's going to be every other Tuesday. And we say limited campaign, meaning it's not a long-running campaign like Dawnbringers or Scribes and Scrolls. We don't know how long it's going to be, but it does have a clear beginning and an ending. And presumably a whole lot of fun in the middle. So I guess since I'm hyping it up, I might as well just jump right over and show you all the new trailer for the brand new show coming to MTD in 2 weeks. Here we go. And there it is. Descent into Avernus, Road Warriors of Hell. We are very excited. As you can see, both Dwight and I are playing in that. And friends of the channel, Sarah, Nicole, and Karen, and our good and wonderful friend, Violet Davies, will be our Dungeon Master. And it is going to have... It's going to be a blast. We're really excited. We've been doing a lot of prep for this game, and so that'll be our new every other Tuesday show. And we are leaning into sort of the darker side. This will be a little bit more of a not to say there won't be shenanigans from time to time, but we want to lean more heavily into the more dramatic and serious side. So we'll see what happens. So that's how we want to go into it. We'll see how long that takes before we turn into Scooby and the gang go to hell. But yeah, there it is. We're going to show that again as we go into our break here halfway through tonight's game. The only other announcement I want to make, just real quick, remind you, looking up above Dan and V, you can see all of the wonderful domain dice that they have at their disposal that are only there because of you, the viewers, who can subscribe, resubscribe, cheer bits, all that kind of stuff. Jeremy just put the information in the chat. That's how they get those. And I have a feeling in the not too distant future, they're going to need all the domain dice they can get. So yeah, keep that in mind. They get those from you. Yeah, the only other thing I think that I want to mention is just a reminder. Our most important thing that we say before we play every game is a reminder that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. Whether or not you believe it, it is true. You might be struggling for any number of reasons, and we want you to know that, first off, it's okay to not be okay. But you do not need to struggle alone. There are lots of resources out there for you that are simply a click away. As Jeremy has already done in the chat, at any time you can type !help in our chat. That will bring up a couple URLs for findahelpline.com or takethis.org's growing list of resources, all of which you can easily access by clicking those links. We encourage you to bookmark those, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. With that, I think it's time to play some Dungeons and Dragons. More recently, however you want to say it, it was recently. As you have been making your way through the dark and sometimes swampy, sometimes forested, always mysterious Feywild, you have been looking for lost members of your crew. You have been trying to find your the missing Archfey Evangeline, who was at one time your ship. And is the reason these members of the crew are safe. But you've since found that the Coven of Hags, known as the Hourglass Coven, are responsible for imprisoning Evangeline and dividing her realm of Prismeer into splinter realms. You've already dealt with the Hag Bavlorna Blightstraw, and you are hot on the tail of Granny Nightshade, already having met up with the Getaway Gang, a group of children, ne'er-do-wells, who are attempting to free the children that Granny Nightshade keeps captive at Loomlurch, a blighted part of the forest. The children suggested that you meet up with the unicorn at the Wayward Pool, where you donned disguises to make yourself look like a unicorn to break through the magics protecting the pool, where you met up with, at this pool, you met up with the unicorn, Lomorna, who told you about their mate, Eladon, who had been captured, possibly killed, unsure, by Granny Nightshade. While you were there, you were attacked by several dragonborn assassins and a half-dragon assassin, and you were all doing very well against them. And then Fig happened. Fig and Fig's simulacrum, just in a burst of magical energy and swords and magic and whatever else, in a display you've seen once before, at least, but this time it was multiplied by 2, and the only time I have ever seen somebody do over 1,000 points of damage in a single turn. And full credit goes to Jeremy for this. What I've been calling a gigabyte of damage was actually a figabyte of damage, and I will forever tell that story with that pun. But now these dragon assassins are all dead at your feet, and you don't even know why they showed up here. The other thing of note was somehow they all knew to disguise themselves as unicorns because they have artificial wooden horns on their heads, as they lay dead at your feet. Dawnbringers, what would you like to do?
So, are we killing first and asking later now? So we want to ask?
If we're going to ask, it has to be later. They're all dead.
That's fine. It works that they're dead for me.
I think Talmud's just like staring in stunned appreciation in Fig's direction.
Fig like looks down at the blade that he had like that had come out of his arm, and he's like, perhaps I overcalibrated this weapon. Let me try to. And he's like turning knobs on this like bloody weapon.
No. Don't you
Keep
dare
it.
touch it.
It's a great
Fig.
setting.
I think you got it right. That was...
Yep.
It's spot on. In fact, you might want to hagify it a little bit more.
He nods. Noted. And like goes the other way, like whatever way he was going on a dial, just turns it 11. Yeah.
I imagine Rollo is just sort of, as per usual, kind of flies over to and alights on Cantriel's shoulder. And you feel Rollo maybe gripping on a little extra tight, probably not in fear, but maybe in awe. Also just staring wide-eyed, almost forgetting to blink at Fig. I just imagine Rollo also, because I'm not attempting that voice, Rollo also just sort of giving one of these, just a nod of appreciation to Fig.
Good job.
There you go.
That's really good.
That was really good.
That's almost here, but not quite.
That is uncanny.
Really spot on.
Or on that brain cell.
I'm a freaking mockingbird, okay?
So, I don't remember who it was. I know at least 2 or 3 of you said something about possibly being able to.
Cantriel, can you speak with dead?
And I don't remember if Rollo said something or not.
I think it may have been Rollo as well.
I have Revivify, but that's like the whole thing. Like, I don't know if we'd want to necessarily bring them back. Maybe to give Talmud a turn.
Down and get back up again.
Yeah, bring him back just so Talmud can kill him. Wow.
Sorry, we weren't done with you yet.
Talmud certainly can't make them talk anymore.
I don't see anything that would let Rollo talk to them. So that is entirely up to you if you would like to do a speak with dead or you just want to let sleeping dead dragons lie.
Want to try and
I
get
think
some
we can
valuable
get useful information from them.
You get 5 questions, that's it. And don't ask how are you for the first one, because the answer is dead.
Right. What would
Who sent
what
them?
would we want to know?
Might be a good place to start.
Sent them, yep.
How did they know to disguise themselves?
That could even answer the first question itself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is
If
it
it's
worth trying to find out what they were here for? Were they here for us, or were they here for the unicorn?
They seemed to be targeting the unicorn, finding
why
out
are you
why.
going for the unicorn?
It's possible that they just died really quickly. So it's
All right. Let's she's gonna look for the one who has, considering what Fig did. Cantriel is looking for whomever has sort of an intact noggin.
Still has an articulated
Kind
jaw.
of needs that part involved.
I'm gonna say, because I don't remember exactly which one, it would have been. I'm trying to remember how they were on the encounter builder. Because 3 of them were auto crits because they were held, and then one of them you rolled a crit. Those 4 are probably not going to be salvageable. The half dragon and one of the dragonborn assassins are intact enough.
Cantriel will go for the half dragon.
That brings up an interesting question. What do you have to have of the body to do speak with dead? Does it even specify?
It has to. You have to make sure that it has a mouth and is not undead.
That's
Yeah.
oh, okay. I'm sure
You
we can scrounge up a
basically
head
basically
around
need
here
a head.
somewhere.
Yeah, that's why I said you should make sure the noggin is intact.
I was waiting a
You can
moment
say,
to
poor Horatio doing well, and they'll tell me more.
I was trying to determine if that was Jeremy or Talmud that was asking the question. I kind of feel like it could have been both.
Sure, why not?
As you're just sort of towing at pieces of Dragonborn.
You may or may not have started to make a puppet out of one of them.
Oh.
Drop
Well,
it under.
Cantriel's about to do that magically, so.
Yeah, so, Cantriel will go over to the half dragon dude and just sort of mutter in this. She'll speak in Draconic, actually. She'll speak in Draconic to cast the spell, so it's very guttural, sharp-sounding tones coming from her mouth. And when she finishes, its eyes flash open and it looks similar to her orb green eyes. Who sent you?
Galak sent us.
Not what I expected.
Not at all. Do we want to ask what I'm assuming we all want to say? Who's Galak?
Kellic.
Galak has declared himself leader of the League of Malevolence.
Would be like alliteration.
That is not helpful. Now I think why they were coming to kill the unicorn.
Why were you trying to kill the unicorn?
Galak needs the unicorn's horn to break the temporal stasis so he can free Ringlerun and seize his staff.
Well, none of that sounds good.
All right. How many questions for that? 4?
That was 3.
She like covers its ears and everything.
Where is Kellic?
Where is Kellic?
Kellic is in hiding.
What's he hiding from? I don't know. Caster's choice
She'll like
for the last
plug the ears and
question.
everything again. Maybe just say like, how do we find him? Because chances are they know how to find him because they would have to go back.
Sure.
How do we find him?
Skilla. She's been spending time in the Feywild. And she knows where Kellic is.
Great, thank you for your time. Now die again. She like unceremoniously just dropped the head. Well, not the head, but like, you know, let the body.
Hit the floor.
Hmm.
I think that's what you were after. Yeah.
That was unexpected.
I was absolutely expecting one of the hags to have been the culprit.
Same. Do you think that this is possibly connected with our larger problem?
That's who I was assuming it was related to.
Shardalon in some way.
That's what I would have thought.
Considering all the
Maybe
dragons.
Maybe this Kellic or Skyla are somehow connected to him?
Could be.
Maybe the children have heard of these names as well. Will is certainly well-rounded.
We asked the unicorn if they know any of these names.
Of course.
Is that you're wanting to ask Lamora?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know at some point she started like as if she was gonna run away, but I don't know if that actually happened yet or not.
I don't
Is the
remember.
unicorn still there, Jake?
I'm trying to remember. I'll say
I know
she's
she
still.
she got all flipped out from the violence and everything, and it was like deuce. But I don't remember if she actually left.
She didn't get to take her turn. I'm gonna say she's still there. I don't remember, honestly. So I'll say she's still there, nearby, so that you can absolutely speak with her.
Yeah, so Cantriel will go up to her and basically reiterate everything she heard from the half-dragon. And then say, you know, are these names you're familiar with? Why would they seek you out? That type of thing.
I have heard of the League of Malevolence. They are not from the Feywild. But I know of them because of this one called Skilla. Skilla. Skilla is a warlock. And she gets her magic from a very powerful archfey. I don't know if you've ever heard of Baba Yaga.
Oh, just rumors here and there.
Is that the kind of vegetable?
No. That
If
is a very, very powerful hag.
Another hag?
no,
They have
not.
a real problem around here.
Have you ever heard of a powerful creature called Tarask? Sometimes called Destroyer of Worlds.
That I have heard of.
It is believed that there is not Tarasks, but a singular being. It is the same with Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga is not a hag. She is the hag. Skilla, from what I've heard of her, is very fitting of her patron. Is someone who is spiteful and treacherous, and willing to betray her companions at the drop of a hat. She has been in Vismia, or what remains of it, as a liaison with the Hourglass Coven.
Jake, refresh my memory. Had we heard of a temporal stasis thing before?
You had not.
Okay. Do you know what it was referring to with some temporal stasis trapping people? Something frozen in time somewhere here?
That is powerful magic to freeze someone or something in time. The only person I know that would have that ability would be someone of Evangeline's power, or if someone stole her power.
So that points to the Hourglass Coven then.
That was the only questions you could ask that one? As Lamora sort of paws at the body of the half-dragon.
Yep. That's all that one can give me. There is one other. We could try 5 other questions.
Do you think it will get you any more information?
It's not guaranteed.
You might ask.
Depends on what to ask. I can't think of any questions that would shed terribly much more light on this for us right now.
What would you have asked it? And she looks to Lamorna.
I would only ask the only thing that matters to me. If it knows the fate of Eladon. Do you... I don't think Lamora would have to ask this question, being a unicorn and a powerful fey magic creature. You don't have to ask the questions now. You could always ask them later if you think of more questions.
You want
Is
to willingly
there-
keep the body here?
Is there a limit how long it can be dead? Sometimes magic can only reach back so far.
I believe it's 10 days.
I do not want to keep these bodies here on the shore of my pool. I will see to it that they are destroyed. But if you need to take the head of this one, I will look the other way.
I don't necessarily have a problem carrying it around, but it might not go over so well with some of the other denizens of this place.
Apparently, the spell will fail if you use the spell within the last 10 days on the corpse. I'm not
Oh, okay.
finding anything about how long it can be dead.
So it just needs
So-
to be a relatively intact corpse.
Yep.
Cool.
Has to have a mouth.
Do we have a largish glass jar? We could fill it with vinegar.
So, interestingly, Fig's hat was acquired, if you remember, from the dead alchemist all the way back at the house in Saltmarsh. So I would say it probably already had some like Erlenmeyer flasks and formaldehyde jars and those kind of things in there.
Also, I seem to remember Fig taking.
I think
a
you
lot of
did.
things.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Fig
It's
basically
a lot
like
of
held his
jars,
hat off to
yes.
the side and just brushed everything into it.
Yeah. I imagine Fig reaches into his hat, brings out a jar already full of something. Maybe there's like a fish in it, like
Pickles.
pickled fish or something. He like reaches in, takes it out, and holds out the jar.
Alright, so we're actually gonna do this. We're gonna put a head in a jar.
If nothing else,
mean,
it'll keep
it's-
the smell out of Fig's hat.
It's already pretty much close to detached anyways. Fix all to that.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is probably just pull a little here, and Talmud will go over and kind of...
I think we can get the point that you're going to... I picture this moment of Talmud walking over to the body, and then we just cut to a scene of Fig just shoving the head
Oh.
down inside the hat.
Talmud is very matter-of-fact about it.
Yeah. So, Fig, you can add that you have a note that you have the head of a dragonborn assassin that works for the League of Malevolence and is apparently a follower of a Chardalon. All right, we've
Well, at
beheaded a
least we,
dragonborn. Let's go back to the kids.
Yeah.
At least we'll be able to bring a gift this way.
Look what we found. We can do.
Didn't we want the unicorn's help? Or did we already ask that?
I think it was just the kids had suggested just talk to the unicorn and see what she knew, and she kind of gave you some of her knowledge.
Remember what the question was that we came to ask was.
Because I remember the one kid had a very intense plan that seemed very overly
Mm-hmm.
Oh
complicated.
yeah. Will of the
and-
Feywild had a whole lot of things
Yeah.
about you. We'll go distract them. You go buy candy at the candy market. You asked to meet with Scabbeth and Nightshade, and then while you're in there, we'll set off the Tin Soldiers to create a diversion. Then you can go start freeing stuff or kill the hag or whatever. Yeah, it was a very convoluted plan. So
Yeah.
some of the things you learned from the unicorn was you learned about that she doesn't know what the fate of her mate Eladon was, that he's either captured or killed by Granny Nightshade, most likely for his horn. Told you about Prismere belonging to Evangeline and that it was her stepsister's the Hourglass Coven that usurped her and split the domain, that Evangeline was vainglorious and deceitful at times, but her magic ultimately kept Prismeer safe until the Hourglass Coven captured Eladon, stole his horn. This was where she said that was. Stole his horn and used the magic of the horn to imprison Evangeline in her stronghold, the Palace of Heart's Desire. And that this horn may be needed in order to free Evangeline.
Yeah.
She also told you She told you about the Jabberwock.
All right, so if Evangeline was imprisoned in the time lock, then someone else may have been caught in it, and this Kellic is looking for a way to open it. So Kellic must not have Eladon's horn or access to it. So perhaps is not in league with the Hourglass Coven, or they simply don't want this stasis opened because that would also release Evangeline.
Sounds like, at least for the time being, that our goal is still the same, at least immediately. We want to still go after the second hag and try to see if we can't take care of her first.
Yes.
Maybe she even has the horn.
It's possible.
I say let's get the hag and Vic and make some haggis.
So, unless you have any further questions of the dead bodies or the unicorn, we can cut to all of you heading back a couple miles to Little Oak, the treehouse where the getaway gang was holed up. And sort of seeing you emerge from the woods, they immediately just come running over. Will, who was kinda didn't really think you needed to go talk to the unicorn, is kind of standing off to one side, just kind of shoving a stick around in the dirt with where he's drawn out whatever his plans are, which are much more elaborate than when you left him. But Bobby, Sloan, Zener, and Star, the Displacer Kitten, all kind of come running over to you. The Displacer Kitten, as it sort of comes over by you, immediately is distracted by a butterfly and is sort of just standing up with, at times, 3 or 4 of its paws trying to grab at this thing. As Bobby, the dwarf, just comes over. Well, did you find her? Did you learn anything new? Did you come up with some magical plan so we don't have to assault Loomlurch?
Probably best he doesn't know how to do speak with dead, because quite frankly, he ran out of questions before we even got anything.
Speak with dead? You can talk to dead people? That's kind of scary.
Kind of handy. Talmud.
I was just saying, it's impressive.
We learned some things that will help us in the bigger picture. Nothing that will help directly with Skabatha, I don't think.
See?
But we know we have a unicorn to look out for. Another one.
I told you that unicorn wouldn't be of much help. So are we going to do my plan or what?
It was a good thing we went to see the unicorn. Otherwise, that unicorn wouldn't be there anymore.
What do you mean?
You know the legal malevolence.
I've heard of them.
Okay, what have you heard?
Bunch of wannabe bad guys. All I've ever seen is that witch girl that hangs out with the hags.
More information.
That's all I know. That's all I've seen. The rest of them are just what we've overheard her saying.
Is the witch girl Skila?
Skila. I think that's what she calls herself. She's always meeting with the different hags. I think she's trying to play them against each other. She always has this look like she knows something that they don't.
Oh, there was a whole bunch of assassins that came to kill the unicorn.
Well, they couldn't have gotten to her without unicorn disguises.
They did.
Which they had.
Yeah.
They were disguised as Is Lamorna all right?
She's fine. Took care of them. Fig especially.
Okay. Not that I care about the stupid unicorn.
Of course you don't.
No. She's
How many are in
okay.
this league, Will? She's fine.
I think there's supposed to be like 5 of them.
Including the girl, or in addition to?
I think with her, there's supposed to be 5. I've only ever seen her, and I've only ever heard her talk about them. Like there's some big to-do group of people.
All right.
She's talked about. Let me see how much he can remember. Oh, turns out he can remember a lot.
Cool.
Their leader, I think he's a wizard or sorcerer or something, goes by the name of Kellak.
Him too.
Skilla is definitely a witch or a warlock or something. I think she's supposed to be like the second in command, but she sometimes talks like she's the leader of the whole group. There's supposed to be some kind of badass knight or something. Got a really dumb name like War Duke or something. And then there's supposed to be an orc, but he's little like Bobby here. Zarak, I think's his name. And the last one, what is his name? He's kind of like one of those goody two-shoes, God-worshipping types. Like you! Points at Thorgarn. Except, whatever god he worships. He just shudders. Zargash, that's his name.
Do I know the name Zargash?
Give me a history check.
Religion?
I'll let you do religion.
Oh, I'm going to use a domain die since we have so many of them. That's significantly better. That is a 17.
I'm gonna say with a 17. I think that maybe you've heard of Zargash as a cautionary tale of a priest who turned to the demon prince of undeath and worshipped Orcus, basing his entire faith on unfulfilled promises. You guys are killing me in the side chat.
So I'll like the cautionary tale that I had heard in regards to this Zargash.
I mean, Will sort of speaks up. The League of Malevolence, I mean, it's kind of like, no offense, but it's kind of like the Dawnbringers. You know what I mean? It's like a group of adventurer types that have a fancy name and they go around doing stuff, except they don't do good stuff. I mean, from what I understand, there's groups of adventurers all over the place that do, some do good, some do bad, some just get killed.
Some draw in the dirt.
Yeah. Let's see if he gets your joke. Oh yeah, he makes a couple more lines and then go,
I fail to see the connection. You're saying that they're just a bunch of misfits?
I don't know.
There's nothing to worry about. I mean, they just snuck a small war party onto a hidden area to go kill a unicorn.
I mean,
that means worry.
I mean, 6 of you went to the Wayward Pool in disguises. Maybe they were waiting and watched you. Maybe you led them in. Unwittingly.
It's possible, but in my opinion, not very likely. Cantriel is better eyes than an eagle, and probably would have noticed somebody killing us, spotting us.
Also, if they were already there, if I were them, I would have just waited for us to leave, then gone in and killed the unicorn.
Well, from the sounds of it doesn't matter. It sounds like you killed them all.
Killed the ones that were there. They have a leader that wasn't. Sent them.
So I think our next step is still Scabatha Nightshade, and we might find this Scylla there.
What does this Scylla look like? Know not to put her down too hard.
She's human, I think. Unless it kind of looks over to Sloane. You don't think that skull thing she wears, those are horns, and she's a tiefling, do you? It's not a tiefling, it's just a helmet or a mask. Tries to look all tough. She wears some kind of a skull on her head.
Distinctive enough.
They don't all wear skull mask and horns, right?
I mean, she's the only one I've ever seen do that.
All right, that works.
I think that's good enough.
Do we want to maybe see about having them track down the rest of this league while we assault the hag's place?
Wait. Are you trying to take storming Loomlurch away from us?
Oh no, I wouldn't dream of it. Just, it might be better if we divided and, conquered. Maybe.
Make a persuasion check.
Got this.
Oh, actually. That's a 19.
Okay.
A +6 in persuasion for some reason.
Check Will's charisma. Okay. Let's find out. What'd you get?
19 total.
Got a 4. I think, Will, you see, as you're talking, Talmud, you see Will start rubbing his chin. And he starts just kind of staring off into the... So, you all would go to Loomlurch and deal with Granny Nightshade and free the kids. And we go looking for the League of Malevolence, try to find Skella and the rest of them, because they're probably tied up into something even bigger and even more important. All right, so, and he immediately wipes away the plan that he drew, and he says, Bobby, Sloan, Zenner, over here. All right, here's the deal. And he does one of these where they all kind of huddle in and you just start hearing Cantriel, with your passive perception, you hear Will leaning into his friends and going, and he's kind of peeking over Zenner's shoulders. He looks at you and he's going, just pretend like I'm making a really good plan. We'll figure it out once they leave. Right? And he just slaps one of their backs. And you see Sloan is kind of looking at him like...
Oh, Cantriel looks at Sloan and just like shakes her head like...
She just rolls her eyes.
Yep.
So Talmud successfully convinced Will that the better plan was to go after the League of Malevolence, leaving you all to form your own plan to head into Loomlurch.
Again, Jeremy has no idea whether or not that was the right call, but...
If nothing else, it'll take them a lot of time to figure that out. So,
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Figured we probably operate better with them out from underneath our feet.
mhm.
Plus, like, we'd be more concerned about trying to protect them than actually being
Right.
able
Exactly.
to attack.
Not having to worry about them
Yeah.
assaulting
Yeah.
a manor house. Yeah. Right.
Okay, so when we get there, we're looking for a unicorn,
Mm-hmm.
or at least his horn, kidnapped children, possibly some kind of stasis evidence of some kind.
Information.
My impression is that's probably in the central castle where Evangeline lived,
Right.
which we can't reach yet.
We're not getting there yet. Okay. Is there anything else? And perhaps, maybe, some kind of connection to this league, if it exists.
Right. Perhaps the witch is there, or some information about her.
Find out what
Okay.
she's been doing with little Miss Warlock.
So it sounds like the next step needs to be that we have to go to this place and figure out what we're looking at.
Yes. Apparently there's a market. Do we want to go in subtle or direct? I don't much care either way.
Oh. Some of us are more capable of being subtle than others.
Uh-huh. My thoughts exactly.
I know Thorgarn's so clumsy sometimes.
Right. Thorgarn just, stumbles and such.
Not very stealthy here.
He is loud.
Left feet. Exactly. So we have to take that into consideration.
Of course.
Listen, I can give you, before we go off on our much better, much more important mission, I'll tell you what we know. Again, Loom Lurch is basically, imagine one of the biggest trees you've ever seen. Now imagine that tree died and then fell over, and then an ugly old hag hollowed it out and turned it into a place to live. That's Loom Lurch.
Great, it was on brand. Perfect.
On the west side of the tree, there's an area of... Well, both sides of the tree, but the west one in particular is better because it comes around the opposite side of the market. There's pumpkin patches. And in these pumpkin patches are screaming scarecrows that act like alarms. That's one thing you gotta watch out for. There's also tin soldiers. They look almost like these toy soldiers, but they're actually kind of like you. Points at Fig. Well, they're not really like you. They're more like him. And Hermes is sort of in the background. Wherever Star is chasing after the butterfly, Hermes is just... Let me. No, this way. Doesn't have any idea that anybody's talking about him. Yeah, they're definitely more like him. If you come in from the south, there's a couple of root bridges that'll get you in by the market. And if you can convince the goblins in the candy market that you want to meet with Granny Nightshade, it might actually just take you straight to her. Or you can go in there swinging your hammers and axes and chopping at the tree like a great mad old woodsman. Whatever, that's your problem now. We've got something else more important to do. Good plan. It's a better idea.
We could bring you back some candy if you would like.
We don't need any candy. As Bobby goes, candy floss, toffee apples, all right. You are free to make any plans as you wish. We're going to make our plans over here. No, we're going to go up in the tree house. You all wouldn't fit there anyway. We'll make our plans up there. You can stay down here to make your own plans.
Okay.
Little Oak will keep everybody safe. And Will runs over and jumps onto the ladder that's hanging down, and they all start climbing up. And Bobby just looks over at Talmud and says, I know the pink and the blue candy floss taste the same, but I like the pink better. And then he clambers up the ladder into the treehouse. And you are free to make any plans you want, and you can go ahead and if you choose to stay this long, you can take a full long rest if you need it. Or you can take a short rest. I don't remember how much time has passed. It's the Feywild. It's
timey-wimey time.
right. So yeah. What do y'all want to do?
Yeah, we can take at least a short rest if anyone needs, or if we wanted a long rest and go tomorrow, just be talk shake.
Do we know where this place is, where Loomlurch is?
Yes, you've been given
And
directions.
I don't think we're on any time pressure, so.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine to go because I didn't do anything. So I still have all of my features and everything, but I'm definitely okay with long resting if we need to.
Does anybody need a long rest?
Not necessarily.
I'm looking at.
Figure, but
I mean, a couple of the wizards cast some spells.
I have
But
one
if you
rage use,
needed,
that's it.
if you needed to, Arcane Recovery might cover that too. So I don't know. Sounds
Yeah,
like
short rest would be fine.
sounds like everybody's leaning to a short rest. Let me check. Rolo's at max health, so Rolo's good. Oh, Rolo's already used their Arcane Recovery, so I think Rolo only spent one spell slot anyway. So, okay. All right. So is your plan to just rest for an hour and then head to Loomlurch, or are you actually as a group going to make a plan? Or was that your plan in the side chat? I don't need to know. I'm giving you an opportunity to make a plan as players. I don't need you to tell me what you're planning on doing. I'm all for if you want to just go in there blind and see what happens.
well, I think part of it is we need to go and see what we're looking at.
Right.
Yeah.
So some recon.
Yeah.
Okay. What?
Oh, I think I would be in favor of going to the market instead of just guns blazing through the patch, but
Sure.
or at least Fig would be.
Yeah, I think even if that's not Talmud's typical approach, that he can recognize the wisdom in that.
In answer to your question, in the chat about the passage of time, so far time seems to be moving more or less, and you do get a sense of that sort of normal circadian flow of time. But since you entered thither, everything has seemed to be in a state of perpetual evening, no matter what time of day it is. And when you were in hither, everything was shrouded in swamp fog, so you couldn't really see the sky in the time of day.
So in other words, you're telling us that, we're the Dawnbringers and we don't see the dawn?
This is correct.
Shocker.
Perpetual twilight.
So, it sounds like y'all are going to head in towards Loomlurch and see what you can see. So this seems like a good place to take a break. And we will, when we come back, we will see what you find at Loomlurch. Before we head into our break, or as we head into our break, I am going to once again play the teaser trailer for our new adventure series coming to Mini Terrain Domain in 2 weeks. So we will cut into that, and from there we will go right into a 10-minute break. So we'll see you in just over 11 minutes. And we're back. Katie's not here, so nobody said butts, so I just said it. Butts. I gave V ample time to say something like that. Which proves
Sorry.
Katie is
I'm
one of the
tired.
instigators.
She is. We're
Katie
back.
is the
She has a
primary
to-do list.
instigator, and you immediately go along with it. Every time.
Just depends on who has the brain cell at the moment.
Right. All right. So you all were able to get rested up and had the handful of miles walk to the sort of northwest from where you were resting at Little Oak, the clearing with Little Oak and the getaway gang. Will and the gang just kind of poked their heads out of the treehouse just long enough to say goodbye and wish you luck, and that was about it. Let's see. Where did they go? So, as you're traveling with your Dawnbringers troop through the forest, you find that the closer you get to your destination, it seems to get darker. In part because the tree foliage is thicker, and in part because all of the trees start looking more and more blighted the closer you get to this area, until you eventually come upon where you see sort of in a largest, it's more than a clearing, because you can see that where there's this colossal dead oak tree lying on its side, you can see that you are standing at the edge of a gorge, and you can see down at the bottom of this gorge a little trickle of a river, and you see the gnarled, twisted roots of the fallen tree sort of laying down into the gorge, some of them kind of crawling outward partway across it, and a couple of them very large ones have reached across this gorge, smaller vines twisting and curling around. Whether worn by time or intentionally, you're not sure. They form two bridges over this gorge. You see, growing up out of this fallen oak are three full-sized trees in various places. And you can see a couple 100 feet away across the gorge on what would be the east side of the tree, what looks like a couple of large, almost like shop windows cut into the side of the tree, and light is spilling out into a marketplace with brightly colored tents in various colors with stripes on them. They seem to be selling a wide array of brightly colored goods. You can see several of the trees in the rest of the area around here are in the various stages of color change, looking like at all stages of autumn. In the distance, you can make out some pumpkin patches, and the tree itself seems to go on for a couple 100 feet or several 100 feet. The trees that are growing up out of this have this, they almost look like towers rising up out of it. And you can even see candlelit windows twinkling in the gloom, and even little balconies that are on various levels of these trees that grow up out of the fallen tree. And then you just see the closest thing would be on the other side of this bridge is the firelight spilling out into what it seems to be the candy merchants. What would you like to do?
there's no water beneath these bridges, right?
Yes. But it's further down, and it's more of a trickle of a stream. It looks like maybe at a different time of year, this might have been like a full-on river that ran through here. But it's just the trickle of a stream. At its widest, it's maybe 10 feet.
Well, from this distance, in that small amount, it's not going to bother Talmud whatsoever to just walk across this bridge.
Well, Fig, you wanted to check out the market?
So you're all just going to wander across the bridge and into the market? As you cross the bridge, the bridge is making quite a bit of noise. You find that it creaks loudly, and some of the branches sort of clatter together as you move across it. So you see a few heads turn from the market in your direction, and you see some figures that look like they might have been rather quietly tending to their stalls suddenly perk up and immediately start tightening up their displays as they see visitors are coming. As you cross the bridge and sort of see better these stalls, and there's 3 of them that are illuminated in the light of the windows, you see that each stall has 2 goblins that are attending the stalls, and they're sort of just falling into place as you show up. And there is a 7th goblin who seems to be rushing to each one of them and just sort of get this. It seems to be making sure they're presenting themselves. As he turns to watch you all approach, you see the peculiar sight of this goblin whose head looks like a toffee apple. You see, almost in the same way you would carve a pumpkin to have sort of a jagged tooth smile, you see that as a mouth, and you see a couple holes where you can see the fruit of the apples a little shriveled up and a couple dark pupils within, as the toffee apple-headed goblin stands there with his arms crossed as you all approach. What would you like to do?
In Goblin, Talmud is going to say to this toffee-headed goblin, I don't mean to be offensive, but I'm after, well, smaller versions of your head. And candy floss. Pink, if you have it.
Make a we'll just say persuasion check.
That is a 24.
Wow. All right. As soon as you approach and you see in Goblin, you see immediately he uncrosses his arms and he walks up to you, and in that way that sales folk sometimes do, where they're overly familiar, he puts a hand on your shoulder and sort of starts to guide you in the direction as he says, "Ah, yes, welcome to the Goblin Market, where we have only the finest of goblin candies. You will find at each of these stalls a variety of candies that will meet whatever it is that you desire in terms of flavor and style."
He cannot help himself And as this guy kind of like has his shoulder and is walking beside him, he's staring at the side of this apple head. And he very, as discreetly as he can, reaches up and kind of takes a little bit of the toffee covering and like has to taste a little bit.
Okay. I would like you to roll me a
Curiosity is
D8.
better. Boy. That's a 2.
I would also like you to make a stealth check.
That's a grand start. My dice, just either or. A 6.
Okay. As you're walking, this goblin is in between as he's telling you, we have such a wonderful variety of candies here, and oh dear, I don't know if these others, if this is the only one that speaks goblin. Maybe I should speak in common. What do you think? Yes, that would probably. All of you are in common, he says. All of you are welcome to come and partake of our wares and purchase whatever it is that your heart desires. They'll be okay. They seem like stout folk, and they'll do fine here. I don't see any reason why there should be. Oh no, the dwarf is. Oh, he's touching my head. I think he's gonna. Oh yeah, he ate it. Talmud, your mouth immediately begins to foam. A thick foam that tastes like toffee and apple cider fills your mouth. It is not impossible for you to speak, but you all see that Talmud is now just foaming at the mouth.
So I imagine with his, horrible stealth roll, we all clearly saw what he did.
Everybody saw what Talmud was doing.
Cousin, what are you doing?
All right.
I do so terribly apologize. I should have told you, though. I mean, you're right. I shouldn't have to warn somebody not to eat my head, but no, I should have warned you not to eat the toffee from my head. You see, a maggot crawled inside my head and is slowly eating it from the inside out. I'm probably gonna die sometime in the next month or so. Oh God, I hope I die soon. At least this part, the apple part, I think. And if that happens, then maybe I'll be back to normal. At least that's what the maggot tells me.
Wait. You're talking to the maggot?
Yeah, it's in my it's in my head. It crawled in there shortly after it got turned into this. And yeah, I talk to it. It talks to me.
Do you wish it gone?
I mean, having a maggot in your head is not exactly. When I woke up that day and started out with an apple head, having a maggot in yes, I know it's your home, but it's also my head.
Would you mind if I try something?
I guess it depends on. Oh, you're foaming on me. You're getting it all over my sleeve as he steps away from you, Talmud. That should probably go away in an hour or two, I think. Roll a d6, Talmud. I guess. I mean,
so I will reach out a hand and I will on hands to see if maybe this is a disease.
Okay, so you're using your ability to cure a disease with lay on hands.
So I spend 5 points of my pool to neutralize a poison or disease.
Okay. As you reach out and you lay on hands, this goblin looks at you, and you see these sort of eye holes where you can see the apple flesh inside, and there's like little holes that sort of serve as the pupils in the mouth that's open. You see, as it almost looks like he's responding and his eyes are growing wider, and you realize as you do this, the apple it's like a time lapse of an apple suddenly in rapid decay. As you watch the holes get bigger and you see the apple flesh turning brown and the toffee starts to drip away and that mouth opens up. And then you see pieces of apple and toffee as a section near the top just kind of goes and apple starts falling away, and then apple starts falling away as goblin ears poke out. And then the rest of this falls away until all that's left is a tiny little top of the core of the apple with the stem and a couple leaves stuck to the top of his head, just kind of resting there. And as all of this now dead and rotted away apple just sort of drips off his shoulders and falls to the ground around him, you see in the midst of it a good, probably like the size of a tomato worm, a really big, thick green worm. He looks at you, and he looks down. I don't have to listen to you anymore. And he steps on the worm. Oh my, that's amazing. I know I should have asked this before you did it, but at what cost? How much do I owe you? How long will I be indebted to you as your servant, if that is what you require? Do I owe you a goblin life debt?
No. If anything,
Give
friends,
Tom the candy he wants and call it even.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Listen. Anything these folks want, let them have. This, I don't know how to repeat. My name is Chucklehead, and these are my merchants. And well, like whatever you want. We've got here. We've got some Wrigglers originals. We've got hard crickets. There are spider pops. We've got licorice ants, jellied worms, everything he's holding. You see that the spider pops, they look like suckers, but they look like candied spiders. Do they
look like spiders, or do they have spiders on the inside?
I mean, they look like spiders.
That's a candy-shelled tarantula.
There you see things that look like the Wrigglers originals. They look like little toffee candies, but you can clearly see that each one of them is like a toffee covered beetle. The candies made from compacted ants or licorice ants. They literally look like you ever seen those licorice ropes that have nerds all over them? But imagine that, but it's ants. Does anybody want any candy?
All right, so what was it? Spider suckers?
Spider suckers, yeah.
I will take some of those.
Okay. Oh yes, these are very good, very good. Oh, you said you wanted candy floss. Here, and starts pulling down blue and pink and several bags of candy floss for you. Does anybody else want some candy?
I mean, most of that doesn't sound half bad. if you're okay with the idea of eating bugs.
If you choose to have some candy and hold on to it, you can just mark that you have Goblin Market candy. Or if you want to eat some now, just let me know.
I'll ask him, is this just a treat, or are there any surprises that go with it?
Oh, every one of these is an absolute delight. He grabs one of the Wriggler's Originals, puts it in his mouth, and starts to eat it, and I guess I'll roll a d8. As he puts this in his mouth, he goes, yeah, these are absolutely my favorites. Wow, I just can't believe that you got rid of the apple. It's been like that for a few months now, and you see as he's touching his face, everywhere he touches, the tips of his fingers have all become ink stained, and it seems that everything he touches, he's leaving inky fingerprints. Oh man, like right here. Oh, this. He ends up inadvertently drawing big, thick eyebrows. He's like, and it feels
like
so good. It feels so good, like right here and right here, right around this eye. He just makes himself look like a pirate.
I'll grab a licorice ant rope and save it for later.
Okay. Anybody can take any candy if they want it. All I need to know is if you eat it.
Was I able to get candy floss and toffee apples? Do they have both of those?
Sure, yeah.
Is Fig okay with me storing those in his hat?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
I write down 3 spider suckers, but I'll eat one now.
Okay, roll a d8.
That's going to be a 6.
Okay, so you bite into this delicious, you can tell me what it tastes like in terms of candy flavor. But as soon as you bite into it, it is absolutely a candy hardened spider.
Okay. So I'm going to go classic and say just it's cherry flavored.
Excellent.
But, I think dwarves being underground spiders is not far from their diet.
Yeah, and in lieu of elaborating on the taste of a spider, instead what happens is Cantriel. You notice that out of the nearby bushes, you've occasionally, since you've been here in this region of Thither, you've seen fireflies. But you notice that a few more of them seem to be coming up out of the bushes and rising up out of the ground. And within moments, Thorgarn is surrounded by fireflies in a cloud. As you move around, Thorgarn, you have basically like all around your form, as if by a fairy fire spell. In this case, it's fairy fireflies. You have a persistent cloud that sheds bright light in a 5-foot radius and dim light for an additional 5 feet.
I apparently took levels in Ranger to become Swarmkeeper.
What did you get on that 6 that I had you roll, Jeremy? Is that 4 that you typed?
Yes.
So you will be foaming at the mouth and unintelligible for 40 minutes.
Oof.
You will be surrounded by fireflies for an hour.
Cool. I mean, if there's an insect that gonna like, I think a firefly would work.
Yeah. So, did all of you come here just to get candy from the candy market?
Not exactly, no.
Oh,
Call that a perk.
it's definitely a perk. Absolutely a perk. Well, I'm kind of indebted to y'all, so whatever you need, just let me know. I will see what I can do to help out.
Big, what did you have in mind?
Well, so we already got to the market, so we've passed the pumpkin or gone another way of the...
So you came in from the south. The pumpkin patches you were told were on the east and west, further along.
Right.
I mean, you don't look like you're from around here. So it just seems kind of odd that you'd come all this way just for candy. Listen. I probably shouldn't say anything. Are you here for the kids?
There's a few things we might be here for.
I mean, like, are you here for the kids? Like, you came here for candy, but really you came here because you know about the kids. And
We are aware of children, yes.
We know a lot of things about Lunar.
you see Chucklehead sort of... So, you can help them. You can help Mishka. And the others.
Tell us about Mishka.
Mishka's my friend. Mishka's one of the only ones that never treated me differently because my head got turned into an apple. And Mishka's in the kitchen. And Granny Nightshade keeps her in the kitchen. She's not allowed to go anywhere else. And that's where Cradlefall stays.
What's Cradlefall?
Oh, Cradlefall's the green dragon.
Beg pardon?
Oh, yeah. Cradlefall's like...
Flies around?
Well, not so much. Granny Nightshade doesn't like him flying around because she doesn't want her sisters to know that she has a dragon. And most of the time, Cradlefall is disguised as a baby dragon. And just kind of likes to hide in boxes and scare people when we walk by. Oh, it's a great fun game if you like walking by every box not knowing if a dragon's gonna pop out at you at any moment.
But it's not actually a baby dragon.
No, just looks like a big dog. It's like that big. But I've seen Cradlefall every once in a while when Granny Nightshade is sure that her sisters are otherwise occupied and that Jabberwock is nowhere around. She lets Cradlefall turn into his full size and fly around. Oh, woe be if you are a farmer with cows anywhere around, or sheep or goats. Cradlefall eats a lot of goats. But Mishka, watches after Cradlefall in the kitchen and outside in the kitchens, and always treats me nice. There are a lot of other kids that are here.
Are they kept any place specific or just elsewhere in the house?
They could be all kinds of places. They could be in the family tree. Some of them are in the textile mill. Some are in the kitchen. Or they're in the workhouse dorms when they're not working. A lot of them are kept busy. They're working in the kitchens or working in the textile mill, making... yeah, I know I'm a goblin, and by nature we're kind of creepy, and we generally do kind of creepy things, but these toys are... ugh. It's Granny Nightshade's whole thing is she likes to go out with a big sack full of toys while she flies around on her magic rocking horse and deliver creepy toys to kids. Ugh, I'm glad I'm not a kid. But
what about, have you seen anything else around? Perhaps a unicorn?
no, I haven't seen any wait. Well, like, if you mean like a real unicorn? No, I haven't seen any real unicorns, but Granny Nightshade's rocking horse looks like a unicorn. It's like a wooden rocking horse, but it has a wooden horn on it.
Interesting.
Does he seem on the level when he's
You can make an insight check if you'd like.
17?
He seems pretty straightforward. If he's, at the very least, he believes everything he's saying to you.
Hey.
I mean, the kids, I hope if you're here, you're going to help them all, but I just said Mishka because she's my friend. I do not like Granny Nightshade, but it seems like any time I've been around her, that wind-up key in her back, it's just ticking super slow. I think us goblins kind of piss her off. So I keep my distance and I do what I'm supposed to do, which is run the candy stalls, and sometimes I serve as her valet. Valet? I think that's the right word. When people come to visit.
Key?
Oh, she has a wind-up key in her back. Like toy soldiers sometimes too.
Right.
But whenever it's spinning really fast, and I have never seen it spin really fast, that means she's in a good mood. I've heard that sometimes that happens, but it usually kind of coincides with when the kids are in really bad state. Like when it gets close to a deadline and they're working really hard, Granny Nightshade really likes that. But if she gets really mad, especially if one of her sisters has done something, that thing starts turning real slow. And if it stops turning altogether, I don't stick around to find out what happens.
Good to know.
You didn't come here to see her, did you?
We came here to see her. Sure.
Did you come here to see her because you want to make some kind of deal with her?
No.
Or did you come here to see her because you need to see her? And he kind of indicates over to Thorgarn where he's... Dang it. Freaking made it almost the entire session. Talmud.
I was with you right until you swore. I was like, Thorgarn, yeah, good.
No, I meant Talmud. I've been doing really good, and I was really proud of myself. We're like 30 minutes from the end here, and Talmud is drooling and foaming all over, and it's kind of leaking down onto where your weapons belt is, and looking over at all of you are pretty well armed. Like you came to, you want to deal with Granny Nightshade, right?
I believe the word you're looking for is tussle.
Well, not gonna lie, I kind of want to stick around and see that if that's the case.
Find some cover.
So, I can take you to her. I mean, that's kind of what I'm supposed to do when visitors come, is take them to see her. Let's see. What time?
Do you know about a witch named Skilla?
Oh, there is a word that even as a goblin I was told not to call people. But I would like to use that word about her. She is very mean to everybody.
Is she around by any chance? We've heard she sometimes...
She was here a few days ago. And I think she went on to... Jan. I believe she was heading to Motherhorn, where to meet up with Endolin, Moongrave. Moongrave, is that right? Did I say that right?
That's right.
Yes, Moongrave. The other sister. Right. She was here. You know, now that I think about it, she was asking after a unicorn too. Well, kind of about its horn. Granny Nightshade said that her sister was the one that had the horn. So yeah, she's not here, but...
Good to know. Appreciate that. So how do we want to play this? Seems like getting the kids out wouldn't be a terrible idea. One way or the other, but are we going to do it before we talk to Granny Nightshade?
One of us be able to get in there, and I know you can. We're talking about being able to like tell with the kids.
If I can see a destination, I can open a gateway, and they can all run through it. So all I need is a window with a view, and to get the kids in one place.
Do you know where the kids are typically kept? I said to the goblin.
Sounds like they're scattered around.
Yeah, they're definitely scattered around.
Do they all sleep at the same place, at the same time?
When it gets to be about nighttime, they'll all be in the dormitories.
Isn't it always nighttime?
Well, like sleep time.
Even Mishka?
Chucklehead gets kind of a sad look on his face. No, Mishka has to stay in the kitchens.
Right. So
She's...
we can get the rest of them out from the dorms, and then we'll have to get Mishka separately.
I think Fig says I could just get him and bring him to the dormitory. I just need a direction.
Mishka...
Where the kitchen is.
Or see the dormitory first.
Let's see.
If they're close enough, that'd be perfect.
So, alright, the kitchen is there, the dorms are there. Oh, geez, that got big. The map. I clicked on magnifying, it just zoomed into like one room. No, that's not what I want to see. Well, the kitchens are about midway through there. Or sorry, the dormitories are in about the middle section by that tree tower. But past, between the second and third tree towers, is where the kitchens are. You'd have to go up all the way along the tree, and there is a door that goes right into the kitchen. But to do that, you'd have to go by the red cap patch.
Tell us about that. Patch full of red caps?
It's pretty much what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
How far would you say the kitchens are from the dormitory?
Hundred and 150 feet.
Fig looks to Drown and the others, and I can get there and back easily, and I can bring
Mishka.
Mishka is a human girl. Well, and the only kid in the kitchen, so you should know that it's her. If Crate... Yep. Cradle Fall. In my mind, I tried to go like the saying from the cradle to the grave and almost called it Cradle Grave. And I'm like, that is not that dragon's name.
Worst dragon name. Amazing.
Depends on how this one goes. Maybe it will be Cradle Grave.
Good lord.
Cradle Fall. If Cradle Fall's there, he'll be very protective of Mishka. You... Hold on 1 second. Chucklehead says that... Where did it go? Alright, sorry, I have something I'm trying to find and I lost it. Oh. There we go. Almost found it. Okay, so You guys only took a short rest. You didn't take a long rest, so it's later in the day. It's a couple hours. We'll say it's about an hour and a half before bedtime. Granny Nightshade could be in the kitchens or the study. But in about a half an hour, she will be inspecting the sewing room, the textile mill, and the workshop. She does that every night before she goes to her bedroom. Also, let me check something because I think I told you wrong on the... Well, that's peculiar. Oh, okay. Yeah, I told you right. Never mind. I was looking at the wrong number for where the dormitories were. I will correct one thing that I said. The dormitories are actually in the first of the 3 tree towers that you see. And then the kitchens are between the second and third.
You muted him.
Yep. Would you be able to see the kitchens from the dormitory, do you think? Or is that, like, impossible?
You wouldn't be able to see into the kitchens from the dormitory.
No, that's fine. Just to see.
I mean, you could see where the top of the roof of the kitchen is.
Perfect.
Where did I somehow managed to open 3 copies of this map, and now I can't find the one I'm looking for. So, what I want to do is... Yeah, this is what I want to do. Since Chucklehead has inky fingers, he is going to go to one of the candy stalls, and he's going to grab some of the paper that's used to wrap around the candy floss. And he is going to draw you a surprisingly detailed map. Only because this is a full color map, and I'm not going to... I'm going to drop this...
Different color ink.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
And
right.
could Fig polymorph?
Yes.
Another thing you could do is turn yourself into some sort of subtle local bird, butterfly, something.
Mm-hmm.
Go take a look around, see everything you need to see, and then your dimension door will take you where you need to go.
That's a fantastic idea. Yeah.
So, I have to...
You can wait until nightfall, till after Granny finishes her rounds and goes to bed.
Mm-hmm.
You said that the dragon would be protective of Mishka. It's fond of her?
Yes. The two of them have grown very close.
That's good to know.
So in our chat, I have dropped the player version of the map, and I will tell you a couple of the locations. It should be very obvious in the south part of that map where you are now, the 3 stalls on the east side. So you see the first circle as you're heading like just north of where the blue and blue striped candy stall is, that first circle that's in there. That's where the dormitories are. That's the first of the tree towers. And that sort of exploded out view, that's the actual dormitories. The second, or the square between the 2 other circles, or the rectangle rather, is the kitchens. And so you can kind of see where those are.
So the kitchens are kind of at the base of the tower of the dormitories?
No.
No. Oh, the rectangle up at the top with the big round thing. That's an oven in it?
Sure.
Got it.
Yeah, that's the kitchen. Yeah, I think that is supposed to be an oven. Zooming in on it, it does look like an oven.
Yeah, it looks like it has a chimney. I don't know.
Yeah, and you can see sort of the little patch on the right side, outside of the kitchens. That's the red cap patch.
Oh.
And Chucklehead will point to... let me find this here. We'll point to... I'll find it in a minute. Where did it go? Oh, there we go. The last tower at the furthest part away and say upstairs here. That's Granny Nightshade's bedroom.
Got it.
If you're gonna go in and help Mishka and the others, and he kind of looks back over his shoulder, we're gonna help you. Like, we're not gonna do anything against Granny Nightshade. That's not what I mean. I mean, don't get me wrong. But we can help to distract the toy soldiers, and if there's I forgot to tell you about the boggles. There are boggles all over the place in there. Yeah, the boggles. The boggles are... Well, they pop up because... I think it's because all the kids were sad. And I think it's their sadness that made the boggles show up. Picture what you think sadness would look like. If it was about 2 feet tall, had a head that was twice the size of its body, big ugly yellow eyes, and was dripping with ink. Except that ink was sadness. But it's not just sadness, it's kind of like an oil. It's gross, is what it is. Yeah, you're gonna have to watch out for the boggles. We might be able to help with that. And all of a sudden, he looks at his inky fingers. I've got an idea. And he grabs a fistful of the Wriggler's Originals toffee beetles, and heads over to the rest of the goblins. We're gonna deal with the boggles.
All right.
And they all start shoving candy in their mouths.
Fascinated by what's about to happen here.
I would say actually after just a few moments as they shove all this candy in their mouths, the of the 6 goblins besides Chucklehead, let's see, why don't each of you roll me a d8?
5.
Okay.
4.
1.
6.
I also got a 4.
Interesting. So Chucklehead starts, 2 of them, these goblins, their head goes whoop, and grows to twice its size. And Chucklehead just goes, "Oh, that's so perfect," and starts rubbing ink all over them and on their fingertips. He goes, "Oh, that's just, you look like a boggle." Okay. That's less helpful. As another one of them starts to look like Thorgarn and has fireflies gathering all around it. Two of them go, "Hey boss, not sure if this is gonna help." And the two of them, as they start, they do this like cartoony sneaking motion. And the music you hear right now, that's what you hear coming from their footsteps.
They get Kronk stealth music.
It's literally every footstep they make. Oh, this is so funny. The track that's playing right now from Tabletop RPG Music is called The Helpful Hag. Their footsteps emit musical notes that can be heard for 30 feet. So that was one of those. Two of them turned to that. One of them got fireflies. And so wait, I got a 1 and a 1 from me, a 4 and a 4.
And a 5 and 6.
Oh, somebody said oh, 5. Okay, the 5 was the one I missed. Chucklehead goes, "Wait a minute. Where's Bert? Where is Bert?" And you all hear, "I'm here! I'm here!" And a very tiny goblin has been shrunken down. And Chucklehead picks him up and goes, "Okay, don't worry, Bert. We'll find a use for you. I'm just going to put you right here." And tucks him into his pocket.
Yes.
All right. Rest
You only need a
assured.
pocket goblin, right?
Pocket goblin. Absolutely. And he goes like this and slaps it, and you just hear, "Oh!" You're not going to have to worry about boggles. Most likely.
Fantastic.
Probably. You won't have to worry about them. Let's go! And the goblins disperse. You know where they're going because you hear this music disappearing into the distance, and you see one of them is doing sort of a like runs about 10 feet and then does an awkward combat roll and then sort of runs in a zigzag pattern, and you can see all of this because he's covered in fireflies. As the goblin merchants all head off to presumably help you.
Distract the boggles.
As you head into Loomlurch to rescue the children and deal perhaps with Granny Nightshade, which we will find out next time on the Dawnbringers.
Huzzah!
Oh, did not expect you to get a whole heaping helping full of goblin candy merchants, but there you go.
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right, Merchant Marines, nice one. You're on fire tonight, Jeremy. Can't believe I made it almost to the end without screwing up my dwarf kids' names.
Oh, yeah.
Should have just played it off.
I could have, except I was specifically referencing the foam. Ah, well. Wouldn't be Dawnbringers if I didn't screw up your names.
True.
All right, well, this was not only our, as we said at the beginning, our 16th episode of our 6th season. This is, as of 2 days ago, we've been playing this game for 4 years. This was our 142nd episode of the Dawnbringers. All of them.
Happy birthday, everybody.
All of them are available on VOD at youtube.com/mini-terrain domain if you want to catch up on any of our past seasons and see what all these characters, see their arcs as they've gone all the way, for many of them, well, most of them, no, I guess only 2 of them that are here right now, started at level 1, but everybody has grown quite a bit since they first came into this campaign. It's been incredible. We will not be back on Monday with Scribes and Scrolls. We are taking the Labor Day holiday off, but beginning on the 12th of September, we'll be back with our Scribes and Scrolls weekly campaign on Monday nights at 8 p.m. And then just announced today on September 13th is our premiere of Descent into Avernus. Road Warriors to Hell. Nope, Road Warriors of Hell. And we are also oh, you get a domain die thanks to an anonymous cheerer. That will be a 2-part premiere happening on the 13th and then the following Tuesday on the 20th, and then starting on October 4th every other Tuesday, for a period of time to be determined, but it is a limited campaign. Ted, do we have a date yet on our next game? Because I don't remember.
We're looking at October 7th.
That's right.
A couple of replies. So
no September game for Untraditionally Arcane, but coming in October, we will be back on Nerdarchy with Ted helming that game. And because I forgot to mention it, we did mention it on Monday, and V and I were a part of it. So a huge congratulations to our friends over at MS Society in their first annual Stream to End MS TTRPG stream. I did some consulting with them and helped produce some games along with Dwight. And we had a couple others from the MS Society that helped out, Lisa, aka Krev, and Brandon, aka a couple of nerds. And V ran the final game that helped to bring us over the weekend goal, and we finished. The last total I heard was just over $11,300. And those VODs have been restored over at twitch.tv/MS Society. Before I go, I will throw a shout out here in the chat. So you can check those VODs out. A lot of amazing games, and you can I think Kelly the Opera Geek, a friend of ours, broke her record for the most streaming in one weekend at 13 and a half hours. But it was all for an amazing cause. So congratulations to all of the folks over at MS Society. I'm gonna take a look real quick. So I'm navigating my menu tabs here. We are going to, I think we'll throw it right over to Wandering DM. Looks like they're streaming. I do want to say a huge thank you to all of you who hung out with us in thank you, Jeremy. Yes, Katie was also a part, ran a wonderful game, and raised quite a bit of money as well last week. Ran the last game of Saturday night, actually. I produced that one. Check those out. Amazing games. B. Dave Walters and V and Kelly the Opera Geek, either playing or running games. Just so much great stuff. In fact, Wandering DM, who we're rating, was also involved. Thank you everybody who tuned in tonight. Thank you if you contributed with subs or bits or whatever to our domain dice pool. If you are somebody that lurks silently in the background and just listens quietly, thank you. We appreciate you all the same and hope you enjoy our program. And finally, as always, a huge thank you to these amazing role players and friends that I am honored to get to play with. Thank you, V, Dan, M, Ted, Jeremy, and though she wasn't with us tonight, she was with us in spirit, Katie, without whom it would be just me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we are going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.
Happy birthday to
Warm in the head.
Broth goblins.